What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com, and welcome back to another one of our videos and our first Kentucky Oaks video of the season. Listen, I searched the world, and I said, I got to find a ladies' man somewhere, somehow, and I went to FanDuel TV's Curtis Kalleward. You may know him as Magic, to help us with the Kentucky Oaks, the top 5. Magic, welcome to the show. Are you ready to go?
This is so weird being on this side of things. Because I remember back when we started doing the YouTube stuff years ago together, it was reversed where I was the host and was leading into you. And now I'm the big TV star. I'm coming to you from the FanDuel TV studios, found an office here in sunny, warm, no, very cold and rainy Los Angeles. But Oaks Trail is heating up this weekend. The Risen Stars for the boys, but we have the Rachel Alexandra for the fillies. And that list of, if you look at the list of recent winners of that race, I mean, 2 Kentucky Oaks winners have come out of the Rachel Alexandra recent years. You had Tarifa, who's a 2-time stakes winner. The list of champions that have won the Rachel Alexandra is incredible. So we'll see if we can find another one of those future champions this weekend.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's been a great race over the years. Fairgrounds, starting to get some horses on the male side of thing. That was kind of light for a few years, but recently has been good. But the Oaks Trail's always been good. So it will be exciting to see it. Yeah, every time I see you on FanDuel, I'm like, wow, my kid has just grown up. He writes me some, but not quite as much. He's just kind of out living his own life now. So it's kind of cool to see. But let's quit jacking around. Let's get to the video here. Let's get to your top 5. Number 5, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going with Take Charge Milady. Now, this is a horse that's been improving for Kenny McPeak. If you just look at her Beyer speed figure numbers, they don't match up with the tops in this group. But what do we know about McPeak when he's got a good 3-year-old filly? If they're going to progress for him, he's going to have them ready to peak. We saw what he did with Torpedo Anna last year. I don't think she's anywhere close to Torpedo Anna's talent level, but you give her some continued improvement. I think that she definitely is there with a chance. You know, winning 2 straight at Oaklawn, it doesn't matter who you're facing. That's a hard track to win at. It's certainly a hard track to pick winners at. I can tell you that from personal experience. But, and, as long as she keeps improving, I think she belongs on the list here at number 5.
Number 5. Number 4, you're going to Bob Baffert. He can run in the Oaks and the Derby this year.
He can. I think usually with Bob Baffert, we say this too, his Derby group is usually stronger than the Oaks group. And Tenma's kind of his default top one right now. He's had some good runs like non-compliance, but I know she's out hurt right now. Tenma is interesting because she's 4 for 5 in her career. She's a grade 1 winner. She's won 3 different graded stakes, and she can win routing. But the biggest knock, and I don't, Aaron, see this improving until we get to the Kentucky Oaks. Who's she facing? Who's she beating? I mean, the Las Virgenes Stakes, a grade 3 event, there were 3 horses in there. What did we learn from that? Nothing. We learned she can beat 2 horses. It's a field of 14 for the Kentucky Oaks, and it's going to be a much tougher race there. So unless she really gets some deep field or some better competition from out of state for the races like the Santa Anita Oaks, I can't really rank her any higher. She belongs in the top 5 based on her talent we've seen and who her connections are, but I couldn't put her any higher than 4 just because I haven't seen her beat anything really.
Yeah, and that is a huge problem. I agree with you. And if we've learned anything, it might be a stablemate eventually that gives her the best challenge on this thing, because it's just light out there in California. We're seeing it on the male side as well. So it is a problem that we're just going to have to deal with. We're going to have to judge it the best we can. All right, number 3. This horse has faced some tougher company. Tell us about number 3.
Yeah, Muhimma. I got 2 Brad Cox horses on the list, and I put her 3rd. She's perfect in 3 straight starts. She won the Grade 2 at Demoiselle, which was a 9-furlong race back in December. That was a good effort there. Both starts prior to that were at Churchill Downs. She won both of those. That's important because that's where we're going to run the Kentucky Oaks. And horses that run well at Churchill Downs maybe go to other tracks and don't run as well. When they come back for a big race like the Oaks, the Derby, the Pat Day Mile even, they tend to take a big step forward and can surprise you. So Muhimma, she's not really a surprise right now. Like I mentioned, 3 for 3 for Brad Cox, but I think she's got a big future. She's a horse that the sire is Munnings. You might look at that and go, well, Munnings, he's a sprint sire, he's a mile sire, but the dam was a stakes winner turf routing at Kentucky Downs. She's got one older sib to race that does have a dirt route win on the resume. So one thing I've noticed, Aaron, with the breeding with horses that succeed on big days like this going longer, you don't have to have the stamina sire. It's what's the dam side going to produce. And I think Mystic Dan is a perfect example of that. Yep. Golden Sense, a mile sprint sire, but he had Tiz Now through Colonel John on the dam side. And that's where the stamina to go 1.25 miles was able to come through for him. So Muhimma kind of riding that same trail. She's got a little bit more improvement to do. She's going to have to step up and face some bigger named horses there. But absolutely, from what we've seen so far, deserves to be number 3.
She looks like a router too. Just in the flesh, when you look at her, you go, man, that's a big, like rangy horse. You think 2 turns with her. So she's been really, really good. I'm excited to see her as well. All right, on to number 2.
Yeah, the next 2 horses we're going to see this weekend. So very excited for the showdown, the Rachel Alexandra. First is number 2, Simply Joking. This is a horse that is 2 for 2. Both starts have been at Fairgrounds, so she's got the home court advantage over my number 1 choice in here. She debuted in a stakes race, the Letelier Memorial, going 6 furlongs. Caught a fast track, caught horses that had already won before, and beat them pretty well. And she came from off the pace to do it. She, out of that, went to the Silver Bullet Day Stakes. That was 2 turns routing into slop in a very messy, muddy track that day. We saw that in the Lecomte. We saw horses in the Lecomte Stakes, the Louisiana Stakes prior to that. They were running from well off the pace to win. She went gate to wire. I know it was just a field of 5 in there, but she had so many things up against her. The sloppy track conditions, it wasn't favoring horses necessarily on the lead, and she had to go 2 turns and face horses that were all meant for a stakes race there. Some of them had stakes racing experience. So I thought it was very impressive what she did. Breeding wise, it's very similar to Muhimma, where you've got Practical Joke as the sire, sprint mile type. Although he could go 2 turns and make it really close. On his best day, he could be right there with the best in his group going 9 furlongs. But the Dam, a 7-time stakes winner, did her best work routing. Most of those stakes wins came going 2 turns. So again, another one with the breeding on the Dam side that says she's got the stand and the endurance. She's got that early zip from Practical Joke as her sire. Practical Move is another one that we saw a couple years ago, right? Won the San Diego Derby, really tough, awesome horse. Practical Joke was the sire, but he had awesome again with the stamina breeding on the Dam side. So Simply Joking, 2 for 2. She's got a tough test this weekend, though, in facing my number 1 pick.
Yeah, let's get to the number 1 pick right there. The one thing we don't have to worry about is a questionable 2-turn pedigree with your number 1 pick. Tell us about it.
Good cheer. She's 4 for 4 for Brad Cox. It sucked when we lost Immersive from the Kentucky Oaks Trail with the minor injury, right? We'll see her again, hopefully, at the end of the year, build towards a campaign, maybe aiming for the Breeders' Cup Distaff and the Cotillion. But a good cheer right now becomes his de facto number 1. And what a good problem to have if you're Brad Cox. You lose your star. Most barns would go, crap, now we have to reload for next year. Brad Cox is like, I'm going to look 1 stall down. I'm going to look 2 stalls down. I've got all of these wonderful horses. This is one that's won 2 stakes races. She won the Rags to Riches. Then she won the Grade 2 Goldenrod routing. Both of those came at Churchill Downs. Very key as well. As I mentioned, she's just the top filly for Brad Cox right now. And the Rachel Alexandra has been the goal since the Goldenrod. By all accounts, she's working lights out. She's a gorgeous filly to look at as well. Beautiful blaze right down the middle of her face there. So a good cheer. She's 6 to 5 in the Rachel Alexandra. We've seen the field and the prices there. She's going to be a lot shorter than that because Chad Brown just announced today when we're recording this that Ballerina Doro is not going to make it to the races there. So she's going to be a very short price, but I think that she's a standout in that field. And for right now, Aaron, she's a standout in this group.
Before I let you go, you've got, like you said, Simply Joking and Good Cheer, number 1 and number 2. Is there anything better in horse racing than 2 standout horses? And I think they're the standout horse of the race. One of them's going to be in the front. The other one's going to be coming maybe 3-4 lengths behind. At some point, if they both fire, it's going to look like, okay, either one of them have a chance here in the stretch. Is there anything better than that? I don't think there is.
Only if you get a third one into the mix, right? Like we want to see, like any sport, we want to see the stars compete against each other in the big stages. And this is the biggest, this weekend between the Risen Star and the Rachel Alexandra, these are the best stars, the best races we've seen for these crops and the 3-year-old fillies and males. So very excited to see what happens. I think Good Cheer is a standout in this race, but it's not going to be as easy as it would be in other spots because of Simply Joking there. So we'll see the top 2 in my top 5. Showdown at Fairgrounds this weekend, and then the Risen Star is one race later to cap things off. It's going to be very exciting to be racing back at Fairgrounds.
Yep, it'll be a great day for sure. I'll recap it one more time. Number 5, Take Charge, Milady. Number 4, Tenma. Number 3, Muhimma. Number 2, Simply Joking. And number 1, Good Cheer. And like I said, number 1 versus number 2. We got number 1 versus number 2 in basketball this weekend as well. So that's the theme of the weekend, right? At least for Magic's top 5 there. All right. Well, listen, it's been fun. It's been real, has been real fun, but that's kind of how we do things here when it's Magic and I, right? So any final thoughts before we sign off here, Magic?
It was great to be back on with you again. Always enjoyed doing videos with you and hanging out with you, talking horses. And best of luck to everybody this weekend. And don't forget, check out the Risen Star Stakes Betting Bible, which is available for pre-sale, I'm sure, right now at racingdudes.com. But 14 races on the card. I'm hoping they stay on the turf. Weather right now, at last I saw, at least, it looked like it was going to be okay for that. Since this turf racing can be great at fairgrounds as well. And best of luck to you, and best of luck to everybody out there.
All right. Yeah. Thanks once again for coming on. And guys, that's it for the Kentucky Oaks update. We'll be back from time to time to update you on the Kentucky Oaks. Listen, thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe. If you really like it, want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. Most importantly, 2 things. Watch Curtis on FanDuel TV, and good luck this weekend with all your bets down at Fairgrounds.